Realism is based on the world of nature or the physical aspects of our world. The way we perceive our experiences is a huge part of realism. Realists believe that the world will exist whether we perceive it a certain way or not, and that the world of things is more important than the world of ideas. Realists believe reality is composed of both matter from the body and from the mind. Realists believed that matter can only be shaped or organized by the mind. They also believed that the interaction of both matter and form was not governed by God, but by scientific law and natural law. The realism philosophy is majorly based off of the scientific method and natural law. In the scientific method, you first ask a question. Then, you do a background research to find information to answer the question that you just asked. Once you know some background information, it is time to make a hypothesis. A hypothesis is basically what you predict to happen throughout this process. Once you have constructed your hypothesis, it is important that you test it through an experiment. Your experiment will give you data that you need to analyze and draw a conclusion of the experiment. The last step to this process is to report your data. Explain why your hypothesis was correct or incorrect.
There have been many realists throughout time, such as Rousseau, Aristotle, Bacon, Locke, Comenius, Pestalozzi, Augustine, and Aquinas. Some of the most important were Aristotle and Bacon. They are known for their works in realism. Aristotle was one of the first major realists. He was born in Greece in 384 BC and died in 322 BC. He is often cited as one of the most influential philosophers of all time. Aristotle's works have been studied and influencing people since ancient times all the way to present day. As a polymath, Aristotle was an expert in such diverse fields as physics, metaphysics, theater, music, logic, linguistics, politics, poetry, biology, and ethics. He believed that truth could only be discovered through observation of the real world and with the use of empirical evidence. Aristotle believed that students should exercise their bodies as well as their minds and supported physical education. He also believed in the well-rounded education in both arts, sciences, and often empirical evidence gathered through observation. A politically educated and informed population was important to Aristotle. He believed students should be educated in law and in government. At one time, Aristotle taught Alexander the Great.
Sir Francis Bacon was born in London in 1561. He died in 1626. In his life, Bacon was an accomplished scientist, jurist, orator, author, statesman, and philosopher. Francis Bacon is often associated with having a heavy hand in what would later be the scientific method, which can also be called the Baconian method. To utilize the Baconian method is to exercise empiricism and inductive reasoning within a scientifically controlled environment. This method of planned procedures and investigation still persists virtually unchanged today in the scientific community. Any use of the scientific method in a classroom setting can be directly tracked back to Bacon.
In a realist classroom, the students should be orderly, sensing, and rational beings capable of understanding the physical world. Not only students, but teachers as well are considered learners. The process of teaching and learning is seen as an unending cycle in realism. In this setting, the teacher would be used to teach students how to think clearly and critically and understand the material world. The teachers are mostly there to emphasize and model reasoning, observation, and experimentation, 3 skills essential for student success. The curriculum would be focused on the natural laws and highlight the basics such as math, science, language, literature, and history. However, the math and sciences have a higher priority in the classroom. The teachers are supposed to use many different instructional methods like deductive logic, observation, classification, categorization, and the scientific method.